that's South African apartheid categorization.
Right.
You know, when I was in South Africa, I went to the apartheid museum and there was the colored, it was like, what is this? That's racist labeling. And then when she said it on the color, they were like, you're black.
Yeah, but see,
but that's identifying. But I think that's another thing about how she, this is so interesting because they say colored there.
Yes.
So what I want to say is I had a woman interviewed, she's Indian and grew up in England. And they were saying, how do you feel about being a person of color? And she's like, she's this big PhD scientist and she didn't know that terminology. Like we have these ways that we identify in America that we're very clear about. Right. And then people come over from other countries. I mean, even Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, love
the writer.
Her.
The
I interviewed her when I had a show on the Africa Channel and I was interviewing people from the continent, authors from the continent. And she said, I didn't know I was black until I came to America. And I mean, that's powerful.
Powerful.
She was like the same thing with that. Okay, so I'm black now, but I'm called colored here. So how do I identify here? It's not that they don't.
Right.
I think it's like, I mean, and she's like, and then she said, then I started learning about African American history and she did all this research and now she embraces everything. But she was like, I'm just Nigerian. What do you mean I'm now black?
Right.
Which makes
it really has a lot to do with the region in the country that you grow up in and how things are classified, and even in the times that you grow up in too. Because the classification, I think about my father-in-law. My father-in-law, he still to this day has a hard time when people say black, because when he was growing up, like they were called Negroes, and black was considered like this other thing, like, black. Like it was and so he cringes when he hears people say, oh yeah, that's a black man. Like, ooh, like, I don't want to be triggered, but it triggers him. And for me, because of where I grew up, if somebody called me a Negro, hey, Negro, I'm like, So I'm sensitive to the idea that it is depending on the time and the era you grew up in, so for Tyler to get all of that heat and that flack about how she identified, especially growing up in a different country where they label things and just the whole socialization was different. I thought it was, I think because there's a superior complex that you can get, like, hey, I'm in America, so you immediately have to do things the way we do things, and you're forgetting the entire experience she had prior to.
Well, she felt, I think because I understand her position, but I understand black people that are supporting her, that are putting money into you, and you don't want to identify.
But then that's how they're trying to be politically.
Black Americans are.
You get into being politically correct and not. And to your point, hold on. Because to your point, you were saying it's a problem being able to identify as you are, and you have to try to figure out how am I going to be globally accepted by everyone. The truth is, you can't be globally accepted by everyone. How you identify yourself. It's like you are who you are.
But I also think I think it's important to learn about different cultures and how everybody identifies, and learning about the culture and where you are. And I grew up in America. My family is from Sierra Leone, so I identify also as African. So it's interesting. It's like I feel like I have multiple identities. I'm African, I'm black.
I want to talk about
Sarah.
that. I want to talk about that. The very first time you stepped foot on the continent, what was that like? To meet you were away from your, and take us through the journey, because when you found out that you were adopted, you grew up, and then you got to a certain point where you had this itch. I need to know who my maternal and my paternal, where I came from. Take me.
So I found out that my birth mother had passed away of cancer when I would have been 11. So I didn't get to meet her, but I got to meet some of her family and see pictures and hear stories. And there are a lot of, she loved to sing and dance and act. I look more like my father, actually.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I look more like my father than our other siblings that are full African.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's crazy.
You got the strongest DNA.
I don't know. I look so much. And there's a picture of him when he was like in his 20s. And I was like, oh my gosh, that
looks like you.
And when I went to Sierra Leone, I'm jumping around, but I just this was a beautiful moment for me when I met my father's wife. So my father's name's Joseph. His wife's name's Mary. And just so
Joseph
interesting
and Mary.
And she looked in my eyes. It was one of the most powerful moments for me. And she said, you have your father's eyes. And when she said, you have your father's eyes. It just touched my heart because I didn't look like anybody growing up.
Wow.
And to be all the way in Sierra Leone and to look
that's
like him.
That's why I asked. I said, he has to say, what do I look like? And there's a person like,
it was just so
just like
cool.
your ass.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of similarities in who he is and how he walks and how he acts. And when I'm jumping around, but when I got to my family's village, but I got to tell you the other part of it. But let me just tell you this one part. There's a woman and she goes, oh, look at her body. She has grandmother's body. That is Sarah. She is grandmother. So I got to look like my grandma.
Wow.
And she has grandmother's body.
So you met your
yes,
paternal
my father.
That's crazy.
I said, I found my daughter. She's in the United States. She's going to come over. And she said, tell her to come soon. His mother, my grandmother, tell her to come soon. I'm getting old. So I went to her village. No one spoke any English. So I was like literally figuring out how to communicate in my little bit of Mende that I knew. And she was amazing and powerful. And everyone said I look like her. And she died 3 months after I met her. She knew it. She knew she was going to die soon. And I got to meet her and talk to her as that people were translating for me. It was wonderful.
It's so great.
But when I got to Sierra Leone, going back and landing in Freetown, which is where Africans who were enslaved in different places were returned, mainly in England.
Is that how we get the name Freetown?
That's how we get the name Freetown.
Okay.
So I'm in Freetown, getting to meet my family, and we go on what I call the Indiana Jones roads to Boompay, to my family's village. And my father gives me this beautiful green African dress. And when I arrive in the village, all the women come forward wearing the same green dress I had been given that morning. And they're singing. They're singing, para tang, 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 para tang, 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 para do, adu, way, pura, Sarah, go to. They're singing in Mende. We're preparing for Sarah.
That was cool.
I literally was pinching myself. I didn't win the basketball game. I wasn't the homecoming queen. I just showed up and that was enough. And granted, it was enough then, but I kind of had a reality check and I got to meet my father, Joseph, his wife, Mary, my sister, Jenaba, my brother, Hindobe, my other sister, Abi. And I was welcomed.
How old were you then?
I was 28. And I was welcomed with so much love. And they had said, what do you like to eat? And I said, well, I love rice and I love chicken, not knowing that you know, like all these hormones to pump and grow chickens there.
Yeah, go
like
get it.
you got to.
They're so small.
They're so small. People were bringing chickens lined. I'm getting emotional because I did.
It's all right.
People were lined up, bringing chickens to me because I said I love chicken. And live chickens are like, here, hold it. I'm like, I can't hold chicken. They didn't make me hold chickens at my grandparents' farm in Illinois. So it was so beautiful. People were bringing me what they had in their family and what they had to feed their family to me. And I was visiting. Like the love. I said to someone, oh, I love your necklace. Oh, do you want it?
Wow.
I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
54 is here. It's hot. Come get it.
Bam.
Ain't no place like home.